Welcome back to AI Unraveled, your daily strategic briefing on the business impact of AI. It is December 11th, 2025. Today we're looking at how AI is rewriting the rules of biology, coding, and warfare. Microsoft has released a tool that turns $10 tissue slides into million-dollar insights. Mistral is challenging the coding giants with a model that runs on your laptop. And in a rare moment of unity, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google have joined forces to ensure the future of AI agents isn't built behind walled gardens. But before we dive into today's strategic briefing, stop marketing to the masses. Start briefing the C-suite. You've seen the power of AI Unraveled, zero noise, high signal intelligence for the world's most critical AI builders. Now, leverage our proven methodology to own the conversation in your industry. We create tailored, proprietary podcasts designed exclusively to brief your executives and your most valuable clients. Stop wasting marketing spend on generic content. Start delivering must-listen strategic intelligence directly to the C-suite. Ready to define your domain? Secure your strategic podcast consultation now at the link in our show notes. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Now let's unravel the news.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. You've given us an incredible stack of sources from December 10th, 2025. And what they show is the AI industry is just operating at maximum velocity.
It really is. We're talking about a multi-layered moment here.
Absolutely. I mean, we're moving from life-saving medical breakthroughs to AI operating in orbit.
All while these geopolitical tensions are just ratcheting up over the very silicon that powers it all.
So if we're going to frame our discussion today,
I think it boils down to two colossal colliding forces. On one side, you have this collaborative, often open push for technical standards.
right, building the shared infrastructure so everyone can move faster.
Exactly, the principle of collaboration. But on the other side, you have the unrelenting reality of corporate and geopolitical silos.
Everyone wants a proprietary edge.
Whether it's for national security, for a massive valuation, or just for straight-up profit.
So our mission today is to unpack how these specialized breakthroughs are happening, how the industry is trying to create open standards to, manage the chaos.
And then get into what the financial and military high-stakes game looks like right now.
And we have to start with this nugget that just shows the immediate, life-altering return on these models. Here's the hook. How can a single, inexpensive, a $10 tissue slide?
A $10 tissue slide.
How can that suddenly yield insights that are worth potentially thousands of dollars in analysis?
It's a stunning story. It's all driven by Microsoft's new open-sourced AI model, which they've named GigaTIME.
And what does it do?
It's revolutionary because it extracts these incredibly complex tumor insights from that basic slide. I mean, analysis that previously required expensive, advanced lab work that could take days to perform.
And the key is how they trained it, right? They had this immense data set.
40 million cell samples provided by Providence Health.
So they basically used the AI to match the simple, low-cost slides with these highly advanced, expensive immune system scans.
Exactly. Scans that only existed for a subset of those samples. The model just learned to infer the complexity from the simplicity.
That's the technical leap.
And the scale of that training, 40 million samples. It allowed GigaTIME, when they tested it on over 14,000 cancer patients, to essentially create this massive virtual library.
300,000 detailed tumor images.
Across 24 different cancer types.
The outcome is just staggering. The analysis surfaced over, 1,200 distinct patterns.
Over 1,200 patterns, linking immune system activity directly to critical data points like the patient's cancer stage and their long-term survival rates.
So this changes the whole research pipeline.
Completely. The fact that AI can make population-scale analysis this affordable and this fast, it means doctors can start integrating these deep insights into real-time treatment decisions.
Or even prioritizing patients for drug trials.
Right, based on newly discovered immune markers. It moves cancer treatment from this reactive individual cost center to a proactive population-scale data problem.
That is just a phenomenal example of open-source specialized AI. Okay, shifting gears completely now, from saving lives to saving developers from debugging all night.
A worthy cause.
We also saw the French startup Mistral launch the next generation of their coding models, Devstral 2.
And this really highlights the efficiency race that's going on. Their large model, the 123 billion parameter one, nearly matches its top open-weight rival.
DeepSeek v3.2.
Right. But the critical point here is that it's 5 times smaller.
5 times smaller. What does that mean in practice?
Lower latency, faster deployment, and crucially, drastically lower inference costs for enterprise users.
I was most interested, though, in their small 2 variant.
At only 24 billion parameters, yeah.
It's designed to run locally, offline, on potentially just a single consumer GPU or even a modern laptop CPU.
And for a developer, that means instantaneous autonomous coding help without having to constantly ping a big cloud service.
It's a massive boost to developer autonomy and privacy.
And this autonomy is protected by a really fascinating commercial tactic, the licensing twist.
Ah, the modified MIT license.
Exactly. It keeps the core open, which encourages community use, but it specifically restricts usage for any company generating, I think it's $20 million or more in monthly revenue.
So they're playing both sides. They support the open principle, but they're building a commercial silo to protect themselves from the giants.
It's a very tactical move.
And it connects right back to that tension we set up at the beginning, right?
How do you participate in the open community while making sure you can still monetize your breakthrough engineering? It's the central question.
And speaking of engineering, they also released Vibe CLI.
Their terminal native coding agent, yeah.
Yeah.
Designed to scan huge code bases, handle these complex multi-file changes, and that one was released under a standard Apache 2.0 license.
So all these tools are becoming smaller, more efficient, and more agentic.
Which leads us directly to the next huge story in our sources.
The realization that this explosion of specialized agents, whether it's Mistral's or anyone else's, requires some industry coordination.
You have to move from the individual tool to the collective infrastructure.
Right. The problem has been this Wild West, as you put it. Companies are building agents behind these incompatible walled gardens.
Meaning your agent on platform A can't easily talk to your data on system B.
Which just slows adoption and makes it less valuable for the user.
So the solution is the formation of the Agentic AI Foundation, the AAIF.
And what's fascinating is who's co-founding it. You've got industry rivals, OpenAI, Anthropic, Block.
All coming together, and it's governed neutrally by the Linux Foundation.
And that governance part is so critical. The Linux Foundation has a deep history here.
Oh, absolutely. Think about Kubernetes. It became the universal standard for orchestrating containers.
So they're trying to do the same thing here, establish the basic plumbing for the agent era.
So that all these different agents can finally talk to one another reliably.
And they establish credibility right away by pooling 3 existing projects.
Concrete projects, yeah.
Okay, let's unpack those 3 for you. First, there's Anthropic's Model Context Protocol, MCP.
This is essentially the standard language for how AI systems connect to data sources, like databases or knowledge bases.
And it's already been widely adopted by rivals. ChatGPT, Gemini, VS Code.
It's running on over 10,000 public servers already. That's a massive head start.
Okay, second, OpenAI donated agents.md.
And if you're a developer, you know the value of a clear, standard readme file.
Right.
Agents.md is exactly that, but for agents. It's an open format that gives the AI structured instructions and context for handling coding tasks. It basically tells the agent what it needs to know to get started.
And finally, Block contributed Goose,
which is an open source AI agent framework that runs locally on a user's device.
By making that a shared foundation, they ensure the whole industry benefits from a common framework for running agents client-side.
And when you see the supporting members list, Google, Microsoft, AWS, Bloomberg, you know the industry has aligned.
So what this means for you, the listener, is a much better experience. It removes the risk that the agent platform you choose won't be able to talk to the rest of your digital life.
The friction just goes away.
So that's the open side of the story, collaboration. But now we have to shift, and pretty abruptly, to the highest stakes silo there is.
Geopolitics and military integration.
AI is now, without a doubt, a central policy tool.
Absolutely. The U.S. military just launched its new platform, GenAI.mil. It's run by the Department of War.
And it's powered by Google's Gemini.
The result of a $200 million contract signed earlier this year.
And while the platform is currently for unclassified tasks, deep research, document summaries, video analysis, it's the speed of adoption that's notable.
It signals that every agency, even the most sensitive ones, is rapidly integrating generative AI into its core processes.
And Google is far from alone here.
Not at all. We saw reports that xAI, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Scale AI have all signed military contracts, each valued up to $200 million just this year.
It's a rapid, broad integration across the whole government.
But the real tension, the real flashpoint, remains centered on advanced silicon.
Let's talk about the incredibly complex Nvidia chip conflict with China.
The policy is a real high-wire balancing act. President Trump cleared Nvidia to ship their H200 chips, the country's second best to China.
But, and this is a big but, that clearance came with a mandatory 25% sales tax.
And critically, the most advanced Blackwell chips remain strictly banned.
The political rationale here is just fascinating. The U.S. doesn't want to completely cut off the Chinese market.
Because they're afraid a total ban would just accelerate China's efforts towards chip self-sufficiency.
So allowing some sales, while taxing them heavily, is supposed to thread this needle.
Right. Maintain a U.S. tech edge, capitalize on sales, and slow down a domestic rival like Huawei, which, by the way, already has chips reportedly similar in performance to the H200.
It's a classic move to try and control the velocity of development.
But the black market reality complicates this policy almost immediately.
Tell me more about that. The demand must be astronomical.
It is. Reports surfaced that the major AI lab DeepSeek acquired thousands of banned Blackwell chips. By routing them through data centers in third countries, they bypassed U.S. export controls entirely. The chips never technically entered China directly, but were just accessed remotely.
That's not a technicality, that's industrial subterfuge on a massive scale. And then there's the federal response, Operation Gatekeeper.
Charging 2 men for running a physical smuggling network, they were moving $160 million worth of H100 and H200 GPUs.
How do they hide them?
Disguise them as generic computer parts in shipping manifests. It just shows you the sheer value and strategic importance of these components.
When governments create these tight silos, commerce just goes into the shadows.
And that intensity is definitely reflected in the financial strain hitting even the biggest AI players.
Let's shift to the economics, starting with OpenAI. They just hired Slack CEO Denise Dresser as their first chief of revenue.
That's a huge signal. They need to shift to aggressive profitability and fast.
And they really do. I mean, they're valued at $500 billion with 800 million weekly users, but the cost structure is almost unbelievable.
They're facing over $1 trillion in financial obligations.
$1 trillion in obligations to chip makers and cloud providers.
It's mostly forward-looking capital expenditure, CapEx. Building frontier models requires reserving enormous amounts of scarce chips and cloud capacity for years to come.
They're committing to vast spending just to secure the infrastructure they need to compete.
Which is why Sam Altman set a major internal code red.
And explains the prioritization shift. They are hyper-focused on improving ChatGPT, their core revenue generator.
And that has delayed other anticipated products, advertising features, health agents, the personal assistant Pulse.
When you have $1 trillion obligation, you focus on the surest path to revenue.
And meanwhile, the efficiency these models promise is already causing structural changes in labor.
Right. The Wells Fargo CEO made it very clear.
He said the bank expects more job cuts and higher severance costs in the coming quarter, and directly attributed those to AI-driven efficiency.
That's a stark reflection of the workforce impact. Okay, shifting to content providers, the ones fueling the models, they're finally getting some control back.
Yes. The really simple licensing, or RSL 1.0 standard, has been released. This is crucial for publishers.
Why is that?
It's an open spec that lets them demand payment and set incredibly granular rules for AI web crawlers scraping their content.
The key ability here is something site owners have desperately wanted. They can now block AI-powered search features, like Google AI Mode,
while remaining visible in traditional search results, so they can protect their core traffic and ad revenue without disappearing from the web entirely.
And with over 1,500 media organizations, including Reddit, AP, Vox Media.
That standard is gaining real commercial and legal weight about how their data is used, or, more importantly, how it isn't used.
Okay, so we've covered the ground war, the financial war, the corporate war. Let's end with the most futuristic nugget in this entire stack.
The final frontier. Literally.
Compute has gone orbital. Starcloud successfully trained Google Gemma on an Nvidia H100 GPU aboard their Starcloud 1 satellite.
It sounds like science fiction. The model's first output back to Earth was reportedly, "Greetings, Earthlings. I'm Gemma, and I'm here to observe." It's a fully functional, orbiting data center.
But why? Why go to space just to train a model? Surely launching a data center into orbit is exponentially more expensive.
It's all about long-term efficiency and solving two of Earth's biggest data center problems at the same time. The first is power.
Okay.
Orbit offers 247 solar energy. Starcloud says it's 5 times more efficient than terrestrial power grids.
And the second problem must be cooling. That's a massive energy drain on Earth.
Exactly. Monumental cooling infrastructure. In orbit, the satellite can just radiate heat directly into deep space, which is naturally 4 Kelvin, just above absolute zero.
So by solving power and cooling, they claim they could eventually lower training costs.
By a factor of 10?
A 10x reduction. That is a compelling argument for making the extreme investment of orbital infrastructure.
It fundamentally changes the equation for the next generation of models.
So if we synthesize all of this, what does it truly mean?
I think it means the industry is being pulled apart by those two forces we identified. You have essential collaborative efforts, like the AAIF, creating the open, shared plumbing you need for mass adoption.
But at the same exact moment.
The corporate and geopolitical silos are being hardened. We see it in the immense financial pressure on OpenAI, in Meta's aggressive internal efforts to catch up, and now in the creation of these new, extreme physical frontiers like orbital compute.
That tension between open innovation and proprietary control defines this moment.
It really does.
And for you, the informed listener, you've gained a core set of knowledge today. We now understand how GigaTIME is making complex cancer analysis cheap and fast, the key standards the AAIF is building for agent compatibility.
And the high-stakes financial game that's driving chip smuggling and military integration.
Exactly. We've watched AI move from a chip on a lab bench to a $10 cancer analysis tool, and now into orbit for massive power savings.
So here's the thought I'd leave you with. If orbital compute can truly reduce training costs by 10x, and given that our data centers on Earth are consuming massive amounts of global power, what other extreme physical environments might become the next battleground for computing infrastructure? And what ethical or environmental costs might we overlook in the pursuit of that radical efficiency?
Something to mull over until our next deep dive.
Until next time.
That wraps up today's briefing. The signal for today is standardization. Whether it's the new Agentic AI Foundation creating a common language for bots, or the RSL Collective setting the rules for scraping content, the industry is moving from the Wild West phase to building the railroads. The question is, are you laying the tracks or just paying the toll? Before we go, a reminder for the leaders listening. Stop marketing to the masses. Start briefing the C-suite. You have seen the power of AI Unraveled, zero noise, high signal intelligence for the world's most critical AI builders. Now leverage our proven methodology to own the conversation in your industry. We create tailored, proprietary podcasts designed exclusively to brief your executives and your most valuable clients. Stop wasting marketing, spend on generic content. Start delivering must-listen, strategic intelligence directly to the decision makers. Ready to define your domain? Secure your strategic podcast consultation now at the link in our show notes. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Please subscribe and share. Until tomorrow, keep unraveling the future.